What's going on, everybody? Welcome back. FantasyTeamAdvisors.com bringing home the bacon MLB DFS video for Wednesday, August 7th, 2024. We are back with a brand spanking new video. If you're new to the channel, like this video, hit the subscribe button and the bell notification if you find it useful. I'm going to try to make this intro a little bit shorter than what they have been, so this is what we're going to do. Everything is in the description down below. The link to today's article, so if this video is a little bit too long for you, the link will be there to summarize a few pitchers that we like, and about 5 plays at each position. The link to our sponsor, the sponsor of this video is Outlier.bet. If you sign up with that link, they have 2 options. A monthly option of $30 or $20. You sign up, go through a 7-day free trial, and sign up with them. Show us proof, email us, and we will give you a free month of FTA+. That's FantasyTeamAdvisors.com. You can see it on the screen. If you go through that, they also have a $130 package. If you do that for the month, you go through them, you sign up, go through the 7-day free trial, and purchase the $130 one, email us a screenshot, and we will give you 3 months free. That is a $90 value on top of what you're getting with Outlier from us as well. So those are our sponsor, and we're going to show it on the screen in a little bit just to kind of show you what it can do. Now, we have 2 giveaways every single video. The first way to be, like the video, be a subscriber and leave a comment on this video. If the video gets at least 50 likes, you'll have a chance at a free week of FTA+. That includes every single sport that we do. Current sports, MLB, NASCAR, PGA, MMA, NFL in a little bit, and about 2 months from NBA. If this video gets 100 likes, you have a chance at a free month pass, which is a $30 value. 150 likes, a chance at a free year, which we just gave away 2 days ago. And 200 or more likes on this video or any video of ours, you have a chance at a $500 lifetime pass. The second way to do it, there'll be a keyword somewhere in this video. I will say it, type that out, and have a chance at a free week. Now, you could win both of them. We've had one person win both the entire time we've done it. So we're going to run it right now. We're going to see who the 2 winners are, or maybe just the 1 winner from yesterday. Depends if their name gets called twice. And people have said, yes, it seems like the same people are winning. They're leaving more comments. That's all I can really look. When I look at it, they leave multiple comments for the most part. So I'm not saying do that, but maybe do that. But like this video for sure. You've got to be there. Let's get these likes up. I know we can do it. So we're going to roll it. And this will be for the first person to see who won, since we got a minimum of 50 likes. Matthias Gonzalez. Matthias has won in the past, but I believe it's been a very long time since I've seen his name win. So Matthias, email me, dfshelp1@gmail.com, saying you are the daily winner. And then let me know your username on the website, because I cannot remember it off the top of my head. The keyword yesterday was taters, but we're going to re-roll it for that. Now, this comment could come up again and re-roll it for him. So let's see who the second winner is, or maybe it's Matthias yet again. They call me Tater Salad, hashtag feed me the bacon. Sergeant Saint, I know you have an account on the site. Once you see this, just email me with the tag keyword winner for 87, and then let me know your username on the website, and we will get you that free pass for the free week as well. So congratulations to both of the winners. If you want to have a chance to win, come back tomorrow and the next day and the next day. So what we're going to do is the video is a little bit longer than what you're used to. We break it down. We look at every single game on the slate. We look at when there's an early slate, and we look at the main slate. So we've got them all for you. I'm actually really excited for the pitching slate. It's a lot better than yesterday's pitching slate. So if you don't know what we do at the end of this video, we're going to give you the top 5 pitchers that have the best matchups against teams that strike out the most. So we call that Pitches Be Crazy. You can check that out towards the end of the video. And then right at the end of the video, we're running simulations as we speak. Once those simulations end, the end of the video, we're going to give you every batter that has a 10 out of 10 matchup rating through the initial simulations. So stick around. If you learned something, hit that like button. Try to grow the channel. We are trying to give away 2 lifetime passes, and we're going to do that if we can get to 10,000 YouTube subscribers before the start of the NFL season. So we got just a little over a month to go. Very excited. Let's dig in. Let's take a look. So first game on the slate, we've seen this is a really good matchup for offense. Like both of these, pitching wise, I'm not like a huge fan of either of these, but we can definitely look at this and see both pitchers. So kind of just taking a look and seeing what pitchers on the slate. Like, this early slate is not the best, but I think it's kind of cut and dry who the best pitcher is, and we're going to talk about in the next game. We got Carlos Carrasco. He's got a 5.53 ERA compared to Brandon Pfaadt's 3.98. Strikeouts are kind of low for both of them. I'm probably focused on just the bats outside of looking at the pitchers in this one. I just don't trust them enough because both of these offenses they're pretty good. Having seen each other, Carrasco, as you can see, 88 plate appearances, 259, and then Brandon Pfaadt's only seen 5 of those batters. So if we are looking at this Arizona offense going up against Carrasco, the batters, I want to focus on the lefties. I want to look at Jock Peterson batting 292 with 17 bombs against righties. Josh Bell is a switch hitter, but he's got 10 bombs, batting 246, above league average against right-handed pitching. Corbin Carroll, he's got that home run power, but he also can steal bases if he can get on. He also has 6 bombs against righties. Eugenio Suarez batting 233 with 12 bombs is another one you can look at. And then Ketel Marte leading off, 265 batting average, 13 home runs. So I do like Arizona, but I also like Cleveland bats going up against Pfaadt. Now, 5 plate appearances is not enough. It's not, obviously hasn't seen any. His ERA, like I said, it's just short of 4, and this is a really good offense that he's going up against. I kind of like the offense a little bit better. So Josh Naylor, 19 home runs, 259 batting average against right-handed pitching. You've got, obviously, Jose Ramirez needs no introduction. Or Jose Ramirez is batting 245, but it has 18 bombs. He's a little bit better against lefties, but we can still take him against righties here, and I feel comfortable. Or maybe you don't want to pay up for Jose Ramirez, and you'd rather pay for Josh Naylor and go a different direction. I completely understand. You got Joency Noel, 262 batting average with a few home runs against him. Tyler Freeman could be a cheap option with 5 bombs there. And then just depending, like, overall, it seems like this team doesn't hit righties as well as they do lefties. So maybe you use that as a pivot, and for GPP, you go with Brandon Pfaadt. I personally probably am not going to. I kind of do like a stack in both sides of this one. It's kind of where I'm at here. So all of this will also be indication of park factors. So park factors, we update them and we look at them. We put ballpark factors, strikeout rates, and stuff like that in the Discord once some other news and notes and weather comes out. The early indications for this game here in Chicago, the wind blowing in. Now, if that continues up, I love Joe Ryan regardless. I think he's a fantastic option. He's one I'm definitely looking at regardless of the factors, because the Cubs offense has just been so bad. But with the wind blowing in even more, I absolutely love Joe Ryan. He was almost my number 1 pitcher for the entire day, but then I saw Tariq Skubal on there, and we'll talk about that when we get there. So Joe Ryan, I do love him here. That's kind of where I'm at. Like, Joe Ryan's the number 1. He's probably the number 2 pitcher of the day and the number 1 on this early slate. And then Javier Assad hasn't really seen much of them. 3.19 ERA, so it's been pretty good. Minnesota against righties, honestly, they don't hit righties very well. The only ones that like have good numbers against righties this year so far, Royce Lewis batting 256 with 10 bombs. You got Ryan Jefferson with 11 bombs, but only batting 221. Jose Miranda batting 360 with 7 bombs. You've got Byron Buxton, 273 batting average, 11 home runs. Trevor Larnach batting 251, 11 home runs. Matt Wallner, 279, 6 home runs there. If you want to fade Assad, you want to go with those bats we just talked about from Minnesota, I'm okay with that. And I am not looking at Chicago bats. I love Joe Ryan here. That's where I'm going this early slate. He is my number 1 there. Next one is the Astros at the Rangers. Yusei Kikuchi versus to be announced right now. I believe this was Michael Lorenzen's spot in the rotation, and we're going to like I said a couple of videos ago, I think we're going to see this trend of to be announced for a couple of starts with all of these guys that got traded at the trade deadline last week. And we're kind of seeing the second way around it, and I think that's pretty much what we're looking at. Looking at this, Kikuchi overall, 94 plate appearances, 267 batting average. It depends on... Kikuchi started off slow in his start. Then he turned it up. He's got a 4.67 ERA. Again, he did not have the run support behind him in Toronto. He does now with Houston moving over there. Just looking at his game logs, that game on Friday against Tampa Bay's bad. I believe he had 11 strikeouts, and I think he had 8. So he started off and gave up 2 earned runs very early in the game. Then I think he struck out 8 straight batters, and he ended with 11 strikeouts. Texas is a little bit different beast, though. He did face this Texas team 2 starts ago. So right before the trade deadline, 4.2 innings, gave up 5 earned runs in that game with only 5 strikeouts. So they've hit him hard this year so far, and that's kind of my thought process here. Kind of just looking at these bats. Adolis Garcia in 7 at-bats has 2 home runs against him, and he generally hits lefties well. Looking in that same direction, Robbie Grossman, 5 for 11 with a home run. Robbie Grossman hits lefties better than righties. He is a switch hitter. We definitely could look at him. Nate Lowe is 3 for 6 with a home run. You got Marcus Semien, who hits lefties well, 7 for 31 with a double and a home run. I always got to look at my man Wyatt Langford. If he doesn't hit a home run, he can hit just gappers, and he can steal some bases. So, and Corey Seager, lefty-righty matchup does not matter. If you have a Texas stack, I think Seager always needs to be in consideration with those stacks when you're building them. So, Kikuchi scares me a little bit. I'm probably fading him and going with Texas stack, and then we kind of got to wait to see who Texas brings out there. Now, 2 days ago, we had a sports betting video, and you guys absolutely loved it. We hit almost every single one of them for a hit, and 2 of the 4 hit home runs. I completed the video yesterday for Tuesday. I think it was like 22-minute video. Went through a lot of things. The audio was off. It was doing that stupid thing where it sped up and then screeched and then sounded good, and then it was all messed up. So in that instance, I put most of the bets we talked about in that video in the Discord under the sports betting channel. So if you want to check it out, I highly suggest joining that Discord. The link is down below. We go through a lot of things in this video. We give you a lot of things that we don't go over in the Discord as well. Next game. White Sox at the Athletics. Massive ballpark. 2 very bad teams. One of these teams has to lose, and, you know, that's just them's the breaks. You've got Davis Martin versus Joey Estes. Davis Martin, 0-1 record, 7.11 ERA. I mean, Oakland bats have been pretty good. Seth Brown has 1 hit against Davis Martin, and that's a home run. Overall, if you were to look and you want to take an Oakland stack against Davis Martin, Kyle McCann batting .293 with 4 bombs against righties. Zach Geloff does have 11 bombs, but he's only batting .195 against right-handed pitching. Max Schumann, 4 home runs, .267. You got Seth Brown with 10 bombs, only a .217 batting average, though. J.J. Bleday, .247 batting average, 8 home runs. And then the big one, I think, if you are taking any Oakland batter, Brent Rooker batting .289 against righties with 19 bombs. And then Shea Langeliers has 16 home runs against righties, but .206 batting average. So a little bit lower batting average, but does have the power there. And that's kind of where I'm at. I'm probably looking at Oakland as a stack here. Looking at park factors in this ballpark. Excuse me. The wind is blowing out, but it's such a big ballpark. The factors for home runs are usually never too high. Joey Estes, on the other hand, never faced this team before, obviously. He comes in with a 4.77 ERA. Strikeouts are kind of low, but it's the White Sox. So tournaments, I'm okay with him, but I don't like this game. I'd rather just go with Oakland bats and then not look at the pitching whatsoever. Then we got the Padres at the Pirates. You got Michael King versus Marco Gonzalez. Now, Michael King coming in. He's had some really good starts, and then he's had some not so good starts. So kind of looking at those. Michael King, 9-6 record, 3.26 ERA, very respectable ERA. Strikeouts per 9 is 10.42, so he is striking out a ton. And the Pirates currently are in the top 5 of teams that strike out the most. They are actually number 5 right now. So everything's lining up to make it a Michael King type game. Depends on the weather. And then the ballpark factors for the ballpark, the wind is blowing in, which would give a boost to Michael King and the pitching here. So we kind of look at that, and I'm okay with Michael King over Marco Gonzalez. Then you got Marco Gonzalez, 3.72 ERA, 1-1 record, 29 innings pitched, so he hasn't pitched much. So we take a look at the Padres bats against left-handed pitching. Padres against left-handed pitching, like, and we said it, was it yesterday's video or the day before? The numbers aren't as good as you would like. Jurickson Profar's number one, 345 batting average with 119 at-bats, 7 bombs. You've got David Peralta, probably doesn't get in the game, 375 batting average and 8 at-bats. So not much. Donovan Solano's another one if he gets in there. 307 batting average, 3 home runs. Machado batting 245, so technically over the league average, which is 244 unless it's updated. He's got only 6 home runs against lefties, which is kind of crazy. Usually when I think Manny Machado, I think lefty killer. Not this year. And then Luis Ariz, not a power guy, but can get on base, lefty and righty matchup. Those would be the bats you'd look at. You always look at Kyle Higashioka, who hits home runs against lefties. Whether or not he's going to be in there or not, I don't know. We kind of got to wait for that. Pirates bats against Michael King. No success against them. If you are looking to fade Michael King, the Pirates bats that hit righties well, O'Neal Cruz batting 283 with 12 bombs. Rowdy Tellez, 251 batting average with 7 bombs. Brian De La Cruz, 14 bombs, but only batting 226. Brian Reynolds, 294 batting with 14 home runs. And then Andrew McCutchen, 240 batting average, 9 home runs himself. So, in my sense, I'm probably going Michael King. And if we're looking for offenses, I'm probably looking at San Diego a little bit more than I am Pittsburgh today. Then we've got Cincinnati at the Marlins. You got Andrew Abbott versus Belozo, which we have not used Belozo yet today, or yet this year, I should say. And I don't foresee us doing it here, but we will break this down just a little bit more. Remember, Miami has struggled this year. Now, Abbott has faced Miami. When was it? He faced Miami back on July 13th, gave up 5 earned runs in 3.1 innings. Now, since that game, they traded away most of those batters. So we look at that, and you look at Miami against Andrew Abbott. Jake Berger has a home run, which, he stayed. That's it for home runs. Against left-handed pitching, this offense, Xavier Edwards, 435 batting average, 23 at-bats. So he's kind of the hot commodity right now. You've got him I would look at. I would look at Jake Berger. I would look at Derek Hill if he's in there. I don't know if he will be, but batting 276 with 3 bombs. That's basically it. All of the guys that did damage against him, I believe were the ones that were traded away. Those were the big pieces that were traded away. Faced him once this year, and, he got lit up in that start. Now, looking at that, tournament-wise, I'm okay to use him. But then we look at Valente here. Not a ton going on. And we kind of see that. You look at the Cincinnati bats against him, never faced him before, but the Cincinnati bats that hit righties pretty well. Candelario, 234 batting average, 16 bombs. You've got Ellie De La Cruz, 286 batting average, 15 bombs. You've got Will Benson, 207 batting average, but 11 home runs. Spencer Steer, 12 home runs there. Ellie De La Cruz has been on fire so far. I would definitely, you got to get him in your lineup there if you're stacking. Andrew Abbott for tournaments, and the Reds as a stack I'm okay with. That's pretty much it. I don't want Belozo here, and I really don't want Miami as a stack much at all. Maybe we have some one-offs. Maybe we'll see that once the projections come out, once the simulations come out. But as of now, first look, I'm not really interested in the Miami Marlins here. Then we've got San Francisco Giants at the Washington Nationals here. We've got Blake Snell coming fresh off of his no-hitter. Coming in here, going up against the Nationals team that's not very good. So Blake Snell's numbers are skewed. His ERA is quite up there. I think a lot of people are going to be chasing that no-hitter. Usually, it comes back to bite us, and I don't want that to happen. Jake Irvin's got a 3.56 ERA, where Blake Snell has a 4.29 ERA. So Blake Snell, people, like I said, going to be chasing that no-hitter, and there's a good reason. He actually has faced this team. So Blake Snell made his debut on April 8th. 3 innings, 3 earned runs, had 5 strikeouts in that game. So he wasn't stretched out, did not do the best against them, and that's the only time. So his numbers look a little bit better. He's actually, if he could go deep into the game, he has a chance to have a really good game here. And I think he could. I'm concerned because he threw 114 pitches last game, had 11 strikeouts, obviously in his no-hitter against the Reds. Scares me a little bit because of the amount of pitches that he did throw. I could see them being very cautious with him since they didn't trade him and pulling him back a little bit and not unleashing him. But he has a fantastic matchup here against Washington that I want to take a little bit of advantage of, kind of looking at it. If we're looking at Jake Irvin has faced San Francisco 31 plate appearances, so basically two to three starts, just depending on who he's faced. I don't mind Jake Irvin for tournaments. I'm trying to see if he pitched against him this year, which I assume he did. He's got a 3.56 ERA, but he has 115 strikeouts, so he is striking people out. He has not faced them this year, but in success, he's had a little bit. I would like this game a little bit more if it was in San Francisco, but it's not. So 259 batting average, Patrick Bailey with 7 bombs against right-handed pitching. Matt Chapman, 13 home runs. Tournament-wise, I don't mind either of these pitchers. At the moment, not looking at the offenses here, just looking at the pitching. Maybe we'll change that up when we get to it later on. So now, we have a main slate starting 8 games. Weather concern yet again. Yankees game got rained out yesterday. Chance for rain here. As of the making of the video, not a doubleheader, but I could see them having a doubleheader, so might change a little things here. But we're still going to go over those numbers and look at them. So Carson Fulmer versus Nestor Cortez. You guys know, if you've been with us, you know that Nestor Cortez, way different at home than he is on the road. Splits at home, 2.48 ERA. On the road, 6.08. He's already faced the Angels once this year. 5.1 innings, 2 earned runs, and that was in L.A. Had a good game against Philly, at Philly. Got the dub in that one. 5.1 innings, 3 earned runs. But he's given up earned runs in every game since June 18th. A little bit weary, and it could be changed due to the weather and stuff like that, being a doubleheader and stuff. So definitely pay attention to see who's going to be pitching in this game and if the weather is going to be a concern. But Carson Fulmer's the other pitcher. I'm not looking at the Angels bats. I am looking at the Yankees bats. Wait for the lineup to come out. Yankee stack is where I'm at. Pretty much the only bats I don't want for the Yankees would be probably Verdugo, probably Stanton. And that's basically it. Everyone else is fair game for me. So I like Nestor for tournaments because he is good at home, and Angels are not that good of a team. Then we look at Orioles at the Blue Jays. Trevor Rogers versus Bowden Francis. Trevor Rogers made his Orioles debut last week, and I called for his head and said, do not take him and stack against him. Gave up 5 earned runs in 4.1 innings against Cleveland. He just has not done much. His price is so low. Splits-wise, he has not faced Toronto this year. I know Toronto is a bad team, but Trevor Rogers, I do not trust Trevor Rogers very much enough to feel comfortable enough to be like, hey, let's go Trevor Rogers. I think I'd rather take Toronto as a stack. Looking at that, Toronto bats against him, not real success, but they really haven't seen him. But the bats that I would be looking at, Vlad Guerrero against lefties, 338 batting average, 6 home runs. Ernie Clement, 264 batting average, 2 home runs. I would look at George Springer, even though he's only batting 188 against lefties. Like, overall, like, they have not hit. If you dig into the numbers a little bit, they really haven't hit that well against lefties. Trevor Rogers may be a tournament option at 6,200. I don't know. I don't trust him enough, though. Yeah. I don't trust Trevor Rogers enough for cash. Maybe tournaments because of how bad Toronto has been. But for sure, the one batter I would like for Toronto is Vladdy. Whether or not that's over under 1.5 bases, whether or not that is where we're at for sports betting, I would be okay with that. Flip side of that, we've got the Baltimore bats against Bowden Francis. I do not trust Bowden Francis. He's 5,400. He was in the he was starter, then he was the bullpen, and now he's the starter. I mean, I don't know what's going to happen here. I see this. Point one, he is the starter, but don't know if he's going to do much, if he's going to be stretched out or not, because he's only made one start. That was July 20, one recent start against Baltimore. Just faced this Baltimore team, gave up 3 earned runs in 5.2 innings. Fully expect that to happen yet again. Gunnar Henderson, Ryan Mountcastle, 4 for 5 with 2 home runs against him. Colton Cowser has a home run against him. Austin Slater has a home run against him. Jackson Holliday's been absolutely on fire since getting recalled back up. So I am all in on a Baltimore stack. I don't want Bowden Francis. I do not want Toronto at all. Next game we've got to cover is Brewers at the Braves. You got Freddie Peralta versus Chris Sale, which I feel like they just faced each other. Chris Sale, 10,300 game log wise. He just faced him his last start. 2 earned runs, 6 strikeouts. It upsets me because I took him for 8 plus strikeouts in that game. It looked like it was going to be, and of course he went 5.2 innings in that game. He had success, but Milwaukee does hit lefties well. They just faced him in Milwaukee though. So recency says like they just faced him, so that usually would give the boost to the bats. But you can see when he's pitching at home, it's basically the same. Does not matter if it's home or away. If you want to fade Sale and you want to go lefties, William Contreras is batting .333 against lefties, only 2 home runs, but he still hits them well. Jake Bauers, .269 bat. I don't know if he'll be in there. Got a home run. Rhys Hoskins, 5 home runs. I don't mind Milwaukee, but I think we got to go Chris Sale as well. But I want to save some money because I don't love Chris Sale as much as I love Tariq Skubal, and you can save $200 on Tariq Skubal. And then on the flip side of that, Freddie Peralta making his start here again. Just faced this Atlanta team last time. 6 innings, 2 earned runs, 7 strikeouts. Atlanta strikes out a ton. Don't mind Freddie Peralta here at either. Chris Sale at his price scares me a little bit. I don't know if he could pay off his price. You basically need 30 plus out of him. And if he can't go into the 6th inning, he's most likely not going to get 25 fantasy points for us. So pay down and go with Freddie Peralta in this situation here. Next game, we got Tampa Bay at Cardinals. Taj Bradley versus Eric Fediwap. Taj Bradley coming in. We look at this, and I like Taj. We've used Taj Bradley a few times this year. 2.71 ERA. Not the best start against Miami, but some good starts in a row there. Splits-wise, he has not faced St. Louis this year. Looking at St. Louis bats against righties, they do hit kind of well against righties. You've got Mason Wynn batting .300, Alec Burleson batting .306, Brendan Donovan .278. He's got 9 home runs with that. I don't mind Taj Bradley though. Wilson Contreras has 10 home runs, but Taj Bradley, I'm okay with him. You look at his splits though, on the road he's a little bit worse at .378. That might give way. I think Taj Bradley's a tournament option only. I think Tampa Bay is an offense I don't want at all. Eric Fedde coming in. They obviously traded for him, 3.34 ERA. But he has not done much in his past few starts. Splits-wise, he's faced Tampa Bay once this year, but he had success. 8.1 innings, 2 earned runs in that game, 32.6 fantasy points. He's had success against Tampa Bay this year. They traded away some of those batters that he had success against. I don't mind Eric Fedde at 7,800. I think I probably like him a little bit more than I like Taj Bradley at 9,200. And I'm not looking at any Tampa Bay bats whatsoever. Then we get to the next game. You got the Boston Red Sox at the Royals. You got Cutter Crawford versus Cole Reagans coming in. Crawford, up and down season, I would say. We look at his numbers, 3.81 ERA. It is going up. Against Texas, 11.8. Against the Yankees, 5.7. But against the Yankees prior to that, 25.4. Kansas City, 24.8. So he's already faced them and had success. 7 innings. Only 4 strikeouts in that game, though. And that was at Boston, so that was at home. But he's had a string of games in a row that a little uncharacteristic, but he started off the season so well, maybe he's kind of regressing back a little bit. We know that Kansas City's a good hitting team. They've been hitting very well. Flip side of that, Cole Reagans, 9,100, 3.36 ERA, game logs, good game against Detroit, not so good against Chicago, decent games here. Splits-wise, he's already faced Boston once this year. in that game. 7 innings, 1 earned run, 7 strikeouts. And this ballpark is a better pitcher's ballpark. I like Cole Reagans a little bit more than I like Cutter Crawford. If we're looking at Kansas City bats here, Paul DeJong against right-handed pitching this year, 245 batting average, 16 bombs. Vinny Pasquantino, 274 batting average, 13 bombs. Bobby Witt Jr. batting 341 with 17 bombs. MJ Melendez, 13 bombs there. I like him. Sal Perez batting 270 with 16 bombs. I love a Kansas City stack today. Those bats I'm looking at. You could always look at some other bats if you want. Hunter Renfroe. Like, Kansas City could be one of those where you make multiple different stacks and feel comfortable with it. So I'm fading Cutter Crawford. I'm going with Cole Reagans. I'm going with Kansas City bats. Mets at the Rockies. Paul Blackburn versus Ryan Feltner. Now, Blackburn had a great debut for the Mets his last start. In that game, he faced the Angels, 22.1 fantasy points, 6 strikeouts. He has not faced Colorado this year. Splits are going to be weird. Even on the road, though, he's been very bad. And this is in Colorado. I don't like Paul Blackburn today. There's just so many other pitching options. You don't really need to go with Paul Blackburn. You feel comfortable without going Paul Blackburn. So that's kind of my thought there. Ryan Feltner, on the other hand, at home again, splits-wise, he's got a 6.15 ERA at home. He's already faced the Mets once this year, only lasted 3.2 innings, 4 runs, 3 of them earned, but had 7 strikeouts. Game log, though, the last game against the Angels, not so good, but he's had some good games at home as well. Feltner for tournaments, because he's 5,800, I'm okay with that, but the weather is a little bit of concern here. That is got some rain in the forecast, but again, this is the Rockies, the mountains, not the team, technically both. The storm can roll in and roll out like that. It's so, the weather there's so weird. Kind of monitor it since we're so far out from the game, but if the weather's good, Feltner for tournaments I'm okay with. But bats-wise, obviously, I kind of like Colorado bats here against Blackburn. Not a ton of success, not a ton have seen him, but against right-handed pitching this year, Elias Diaz, 273 batting average, 4 bombs. Ryan McMahon, 10 bombs. Togliai, 10 bombs. Ezekiel Tovar, 11 home runs. Brenton Doyle, 16 home runs. Like, there's some numbers here that we like. I don't mind a Colorado stack here. Then we've got the Tigers at the Mariners. Tariq Skubal versus George Kirby. Skubal's my number one. He's got the best matchup of any starting pitcher against the Mariners, who do strike out the most out of any team all year. And I don't think it's been really that... I don't think they've been threatened as much. They just strike out a ton. Especially at home, they strike out even more. And we're going to talk about that in a minute. But Skubal's my number one. He's the picture of the video in the article for a reason. Then you got George Kirby. Let's see. Has Skubal faced them this year? No, he has not faced them this year. Pitching on the road, he has a little bit worse ERA, but it's 2.76, so it's not bad at all. Then we've got our boy George Kirby coming in. Does have a good matchup here. Game log or splits, he has not faced Detroit this year. In his career, 14 plate appearances, so not much. George Kirby for tournaments, I don't mind, especially against this team. Is coming off a bad start at Boston. Splits-wise, when he's at home, he does have a better ERA at home. I like George Kirby. I think probably only tournament, but I absolutely love Tariq Skubal, and he's not even the highest priced pitcher on the slate. So I love Skubal here. I really don't like either offense. I'm just going pitching. Skubal for cash, Kirby for tournaments. And the keyword of the day is H2O. You got to get you some water. It'll help you through the day. Final game. Tyler Phillips versus Gavin Stone. Tyler Phillips coming in 7,000. Splits-wise, not faced LA this year. When he's on the road, it's been worse, 6.94. Again, that's 3 starts, so not a ton. Not coming off a good game against Seattle, who strikes out the most. And I believe we used him. So this is where I'll tell you, we are different than other DFS providers because I'm going to let you know when we are right or wrong. I was on Tyler Phillips last time. I'm not going to make that mistake again. I'm definitely looking at taking the Dodgers bats over using Tyler Phillips. Dodgers bats that have success against righties this year. Freeman, batting .312 with 11 bombs. Teoscar Hernandez has 14 home runs. Shohei, .319 batting average, 26 home runs. Would not be surprised if they absolutely slaughter, depending on who else is in this lineup. Gavin Lux, 6 bombs. I could see that. Just depends on who comes out there. I also like Will Smith if he is starting over Austin Barnes. So I want nothing to do with Tyler Phillips. Then you got Gavin Stone. Phillies struggled, but Gavin Stone's really struggled this year too. He's faced them once this year, lasted 4.2 innings, only 4, but he did give up 4 earned runs. It's kind of where I'm at. I'm looking at Kyle Schwarber. Even though Kyle Schwarber only bats 197 against righties, I would look at him more boom or bust. He got 13 home runs against righties this year. Bryce Harper has struggled lately. He's 17 home runs against righties. Alec Boehm batting 302 with 7 bombs against righties. Bryson Stott's a name we haven't talked about for a minute. 245 batting average, 7 home runs. I like him. You got Brandon Marsh with 11 bombs. You got Johan Rojas, 261 batting average with 3 home runs as well. And then we always got to have our name in there. Nick Castellanos, 8 bombs against right-handed pitching. Kind of where I'm at. I'm avoiding both of these pitchers. I'm looking at the offenses. I think I like the Dodgers offense a little bit more, but I think this could be a high-scoring game for you as well. And there you have it. The breakdown, the early slate, the main slate, the giveaway, everything. In the description, all of the links that you need. It is now time for Pitches Be Crazy. The number 1 pitcher today for this slate, Tariq Skubal at Seattle, like we've already talked about. Seattle strikes out 10.19 times per game. At home, 10.32. Number 2 is Paul Blackburn at Colorado. While I don't love him in this matchup, Colorado does strike out more, but they do strike out more on the road. Colorado strikes out 9.74 times per game, but only 8.98 at home. Number 3 is Cole Reagans at Boston. He's already had success against them once this year with, I think it was 7 strikeouts. Boston strikes out an average of 9.62 times per game. And when they are on the road, they actually strike out more at 9.86. Oakland, 9.38 strikeouts. That would lead us to Davis Martin, which I don't know if I like this. I don't know how deep he's going to go into the game. But they actually strike out less at home, which makes no sense to me, and it never will, at 8.70. And then number 5 is Michael King at Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh strikes out 9.18 times per game, and at home they strike out 8.36. So they do strike out a little bit more on the road than they do at home. Now, these are not the only pitchers that I would be looking at for Pitches Be Crazy. I'm just giving you all of the matchups against the teams that strike out the most for the day. And that leads us to all of the batters that have a 10 out of 10 matchup rating. There's quite a few today. If this game gets played, Aaron Judge, number 1. Number 2 is JD Martinez. 3 is Colton Cowser. 4 is Anthony Santander. 5 is Gunnar Henderson. 6 is Ryan O'Hearn. 7 is Adley Rutschman. 8 is Jurickson Profar. 9, Pete Alonso. 10, Xander Bogaerts. 11, Brent Rooker. 12, J.J. Bleday. 13, Trevor Larnach. 14, Jake Cronenworth. 15, Juan Soto. 16, Manny Machado. 17, Royce Lewis. 18, Donovan Solano. 19, Ha-Seong Kim. 20, Brandon Lau. 21, Vinny Pasquantino. And number 22, Carlos Santana. There you have it. If you want to see more, you want to see the article that you see on the screen, click all the links down below and make sure to click into our Discord where we go over a lot of things. We go back and forth. People share their lineups, give out ideas, and we help each other out. So good luck on this slate. And as always, let's bring them some bacon. Peace.